Today's video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Alright, what is up? This is SLOplays, and I am back at it again with another Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 video. We actually have something super important that we need to go over in terms of what the gameplay might actually entail. Okay, this is likely how we're going to be playing this game when it drops, whenever gameplay actually gets revealed. And I would put the expectation up that this is going to be a lot more action-adventure oriented than what we currently have in Xenoverse 2 and what we had in Xenoverse 1, okay? And the reason I say that is because on the official website, and I mean Bandai Namco's website, on both the English version, I think the Japanese version, and even the, I guess, Europe version or whatever, I mean, it doesn't matter, English, Europe, it's all the same shit. On there, this is something I kind of overlooked, and I guess I just didn't really notice, because, I mean, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you could consider it being like an action-adventure, but not like a full-on action-adventure, right? Now, on the official site, it shows the genres as action/adventure, right? Now, something that I was kind of noticing with this is that the Xenoverse 2 genre page just classifies Xenoverse 2 as anime, action, and online multiplayer, okay? It's got a bunch of different, like, you know, subgenres, because Xenoverse 2 isn't just one kind of game, right? There's a lot you can do with it, right? There's, you know, tons of online modes. There's obviously, you know, action arena fighting, right? And obviously it's an anime game, okay? And there are more things to it. There's some, like, you know, MMO. There's a little bit of, like, you know, RPG elements and stuff. But you can't really say that Xenoverse 2 is like a full adventure, right? You're kind of stuck in Kanton City, and that's all you can really do in terms of, like, exploration, okay? When I think of adventure, I think of you're traveling, you're exploring, you're going through, you know, different areas and environments and stuff, right? Xenoverse 2 isn't really like that, okay? The main core gameplay is an arena fighter, right? For the most part. But, like I said, you know, there are other elements integrated into it. Now, if you go to Xenoverse 1's website, they categorize it as just action and anime. Now, obviously, that's not true. There are online multiplayer things, right? You can go online, you can do, you know, PvP and stuff, but you're a little bit more restricted. There wasn't, you know, you didn't have raids, you didn't have, if I recall correctly, I don't think there were, like, the 3v3s and shit in this, right? There are a lot of online modes that they added in Xenoverse 2 that made it a lot more, you know, online oriented. And, you know, with that came the cost of, you know, requiring online for most of it. But I just find it interesting that they're really, you know, explicitly stating that this is not just action, it's also adventure, okay? Now, if you go to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's page, they categorize Kakarot as an action RPG, right? And anime, right? So, obviously, that makes sense. We know the, you know, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game has always been categorized as an action RPG. I guess you could consider it like an adventure in a sense, but they're not explicitly stating it's an adventure game, right? On this one. Now, if you go to the page on Steam, okay, we have the genres as action, adventure, and RPG, right? Now, that's very important because if you go to Xenoverse 2's page, it shows action, adventure, casual, and massively multiplayer, okay? Same thing with Xenoverse 1. They just categorize it as action, okay? So when it comes to Xenoverse 1, I would have to say that the main, you know, gameplay has always just been kind of like an arena fighter, kind of like Sparking Zero, for example, right? Not entirely, but, I mean, main core gameplay, the majority, I would say, like, you know, at least at minimum 75% of the gameplay that you're doing is you're going into, you know, an arena and you're fighting, right? Now, with Xenoverse 2, like I said, it's a lot more flexible, okay? You could consider it a little bit more of having some adventure to it because Kanton City is a lot larger, you know, and then they added a ton of new online modes. Now, keep in mind, I don't want people to get worried that they're not putting massively multiplayer on Xenoverse 3's page, right? Because this game just got revealed, right? There are a lot of things that they have not shown at all yet, okay? Like, a lot. I'm telling you, like, you know, the Xenoverse 3 trailer, the first trailer that we just got a couple of weeks ago, right? That gave us a little bit of information, a little bit of an idea of what, you know, this game's going to be kind of about, right? It's just a basic overview. There are tons of details, tons of new modes and things that we haven't seen yet. obviously they're not going to show anything online yet because it's just a reveal trailer. Okay, we're just getting an announcement. So once that happens, I'm sure that the genre on Steam is going to get updated as time goes on, right? But we'll see. We'll definitely see. No confirmation. But it is very important that they are specifically adding the adventure and RPG genre into this, right? Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box where you will get up to 20 of the exclusive limited edition and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks, including Japanese instant ramen and drinks that are only available in Japan for a limited time. While Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers, each box coming with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and a special Japanese tableware. All right, y'all, we are almost halfway through the year. It is officially the month of May. Let's go ahead and try out something different for Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. They're offering this, I think it's a tea. It's, I think, the Yuzuku. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I apologize, but it's different this time around. This comes in like a little package with some powder. Pour this in here. I don't know if I have to do all of it. I'll just do a little bit for now just to kind of try it out. And I'll have that kind of dissolve in the background. And then we're going to move on to Tokyo Treat. We have some salted caramel Kit Kats. Come on, you cannot go wrong with this. This is probably going to be a banger. Question is, though, will it have a little bit of saltiness to it? I'm actually curious about that. It definitely smells very good. So I'm just going to do a corner bite here. As you can see, it's like a white color, but there's like chocolate on the bottom. Yeah, there's a little bit of saltiness to it. That's actually pretty good. All right, let's move over to Sakurako. These, I believe, are oyster crackers. Actually, sorry, oyster sauce crackers. Look at the little guy. Hello. Well, that's a strong smell. So they come in these like little tiny squares. Oh my god. I'm gonna eat this whole package right now. All right, let's try some of this tea here. Okay, that's not bad. All right, let's move on over to the special tableware thingy. If I can even open this. Oh my goodness. So this one, I think there are like 2 different versions that will get sent out. It just depends on, like, you know, if you get one or the other. This one is, I'm assuming this one is just the indigo plate. There's another one that you could possibly get, but this one is just an indigo. So it's pretty simple. It's very nice, but yeah, pretty good for this month. This month's theme for Tokyo Treat is the Osaka Snacktacular. This month, Tokyo Treat takes you to Osaka, a city known for its vibrant food culture. You'll discover snacks inspired by local favorites, from savory bites like the octopus rice crackers and yummy yakisoba, to sweet treats like mini sugar donuts, plus plenty more to enjoy and share with your loved ones. This month's theme for Sakurako is the heritage of Hiroshima. This month, Sakurako takes you to Hiroshima, where nature, culture, and history come together. You'll find curated treats like the Satouchi lemon cookie, Hyoho grape chocolate crunch, and strawberry baumkuchen. These snacks are designed to be savored slowly, whether alone or with loved ones. You can pair them perfectly with the kudzuyu tea, as well as the Bloom's hand-picked ceramic indigo plate or marquetry plate, which could be included in your box. If you have any allergies, be sure to look in each box with the cultural booklet, which lists off all of the allergen information. Use code SLOWS to get $5 off for your first Sakurako box through the link down below in the description, and also to get $5 off for your first Tokyo Treat box, also down in the link in the description below. And obviously what that leads me to believe is that this game is going to have a lot more adventure aspects, which is to be expected because this is the 3rd game. This is something that a lot of people have wanted for the 3rd game and just for Xenoverse in general. Like, you know, Kantan City was pretty big, but, you know, you couldn't really do a lot, right? There's not a lot of exploration. It just didn't feel as expansive, right? you were pretty restricted to always going to the Times Nest and talking with either Supreme Kai of Time or Elder Kai, whoever it may be, Xenotrunks. Even if you wanted to progress through the story with the DLC, you would either have to talk to Few or go through one of the purple time rifts, okay? It's a nightmare, right? It's a nightmare navigating stuff, and, you know, trying to figure out, like, which robot you got to talk to if you want to replay stories and stuff. It gets kind of annoying, right? I think it'd be a lot cooler if the story played out to where, you know, we had a lot more variety, we had more choice involved, right? You know, they had the path changes and the different paths that you could take in the story at times with, like, infinite history and stuff. But, I mean, I understand, you know, that's kind of like how the anime, you know, Bandai Namco games usually go for. It's always a menu, and then you just select where you want to go, which can be simple and can be simplified, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it's a lot cooler to just have the story kind of play out as you explore, right? To me, and this is what I'm hoping Xenoverse 3 is more like, for example, like, and not 100% exactly, but I mean, this is because this is the only game that I really play that's really considered like an action adventure. Zelda, right? Zelda, Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom, something like that. Like, I want something more like that. And because this is considered, I mean, well, not considered, but I mean, they're saying it's Age 1000, Dragon Ball Online elements are a big plus. Like, I want the more open world type of aspect, and that's, again, that's what people have been wanting for Bandai Namco's anime games, right? Tons of these anime games that have been coming out, they're not doing this, you know, open world exploration type of shit, right? Or action adventure type of shit. And obviously, you know, when it comes to the combat and the gameplay, I want it to jump straight into how Xenoverse normally plays, and obviously improve on the mechanics, make it better, right? You know, I want to be able to fly around. I want to be able to, you know, basically, and this is something I talked with Rhyme about, okay? When we were doing our Xenoverse 3 wishlist video, right before the trailer dropped and everything, we both kind of agreed that it should kind of go the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot route a bit. Not exactly, but more like where it's like, okay, you do have a little bit of open world, a little bit of adventure exploration. You can, you know, pick up items and things, okay? That was as close as we ever got to something like Zelda Breath of the Wild in terms of like a Dragon Ball game, right? Dragon Ball Z Kakarot has handled that very well. Now, when it comes to the actual gameplay, it shifts, okay? You encounter an enemy and it kind of shifts into like an RPG type of thing, almost like a Final Fantasy, like, you know, you go into a new, like a zone, right? And you fight an enemy in a, you know, closed space for the most part, right? But, I mean, the transition is fine, and it's not a big deal, and the gameplay changes, okay? You're flying, and now you're fighting. Now, I'm not a big fan of how Kakarot's combat is. I feel like it's kind of slow. It's kind of meh. It's not Xenoverse, and it's not Sparking Zero, right? So just imagine the Kakarot style for everything, for the most part, but when you jump into the gameplay, it plays more like Xenoverse / maybe Sparking Zero, right? Where it's like there's a lot more freedom. You can do combos. There's fighting, you know, and everything. You can switch into skills and stuff. Like, just think about if you combine Kakarot with Xenoverse / Sparking Zero's actual fighting and combat, right? That would be amazing. I don't know if everybody would agree with that. I would hope that people are on board with the idea of that, just because, I mean, you're getting the best of whatever Xenoverse has to offer, but you're also getting some exploration, open world kind of environment with it, right? And you're seeing it from the city. We saw it in the trailer. I mean, this is like the image that I have here, I created in Photoshop, you know, just to give you a cool visual, right? But the actual background is an official image from Xenoverse 3. Okay, this is a press kit image that they had. This is how the game, like, you know, looks, and how, like, look how big the city is. Okay, this is straight from the video game so far, from what we know, right? So the city is massive, and I would hope that we could go beyond the city, just depending on how big the city is. Like, are they going to go a Pokemon Legends ZA route, where it's like the whole game is taking place in just the city? Or are they going to go a route where it's like, okay, even though this city is huge, and they said this is the biggest Dragon Ball game to date, right? Are we able to move out, right? Explore. I mean, you're still on Earth, right? So I want to be able to maybe, I want to travel to Kami's Lookout, or, you know, the Kame House, Roshi's Island. Roshi probably still alive at this point, right? As crazy as that is, motherfucker was already 300 years old. Stack on another 300. Like, he's not going anywhere unless somebody actually fucking killed him, right? And that's the thing that I said with, like, Piccolo. Like, Piccolo might actually be Piccolo in the trailer, right? Unless somebody killed him, and then this is, like, I don't know, some kind of, like, incarnation of him. I don't know, right? But yeah, that's what I kind of really wanted to go over with this, is that I definitely think that they are shifting the game's genre and how things are going to play out in terms of the actual gameplay into more of an adventure game, okay? And keep in mind, like I said, you know, it says action/adventure, so we're still going to be getting, you know, the Xenoverse type of gameplay, right? Maybe not to a T or exact copy-paste, right? I would hope it's not. You know, Xenoverse 2's gameplay, you know, some people like it, some people don't. And I would hope that the gameplay, the actual combat, has improved. You know, the leap from Xenoverse 1 to Xenoverse 2 was actually a pretty big one within, you know, only a year, right? That these games released, you know, from each other. So the fact that, you know, they improved the gameplay a lot in just that small amount of time, which they significantly improved the gameplay. If you play Xenoverse 2 and you go back to Xenoverse 1, it's night and day. It's not even the same game anymore to me, right? It's so fucking stiff. I don't know how, you know, we were playing Xenoverse 1, but we did. And when that game came out, we thought that shit was peak. We were like, it's not going to get better than this. Like, this is awesome, right? And then Xenoverse 2 comes out, and they're like, shit, this game plays so much smoother. We can do stamina breaks. We can snap vanish and all this, and it's great. I want the gameplay to be a little bit closer to how Tenkaichi and Sparking plays in terms of the combat, okay? There's a lot more freedom with the combos. You know, you can, you know, do things so much smoother. It's faster. You know, the way things snap, it's great, right? So I'm hopefully looking for something like that, but with some Kakarot-style elements, okay, integrated into it. So that would be really fucking cool, right? You know, imagine being able to explore as your custom character, or if, you know, they allow it, you know, because we haven't seen any cast characters being confirmed yet, right? But like a new version of Goku in Age 1000 or whatever, or one of his descendants or whatever it may be, you know, have him being able to, like, you know how cool that would be to be able to switch out your custom character to, like, Goku, for example. Like, maybe you can, like, have, like, a team, right? I'm going into some crazy territory here, and that's probably not how it's going to play out at all. I think you'll probably just be, you know, focused on your custom character for the most part. But we'll see what happens in terms of adventure and exploration with it, okay? And keep in mind, I don't think it's going to be, like, a complete open world. I would hope so, but I don't want to get my hopes up. You know what I mean? Even though I just said I would hope so. But that would be awesome, right? I think this game, like I said, I think it's going to be so much bigger than what we had with Xenoverse 2. It has to be. It absolutely has to be. So y'all let me know your thoughts and opinions about it. I do think that it is worth, you know, keeping this in mind, that it is having that adventure specifically right there, right? Because Xenoverse 2 was never really known for it being like an adventure game. I can't really see it as being an adventure game. It's not really like that, right? I want to see something more like Breath of the Wild or like Tears of the Kingdom with this. But be sure to drop a like, subscribe here on the channel, ring my notification bell. As always, big shout out to Tokyo Treat and Sakurako for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet!